On the 29th of May 2023, something very tragic happened in Nigeria. A new president by the name Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerged, and during his very first speech as a president, he said something that shook the entire country.
Subsidy. Unfortunate. The budget that I've glimpsed before I assumed office and what I've had is that no provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
Fuel subsidy gone. With that single statement, the Nigerian economy collapsed instantly. Food prices went up, transportation doubled, businesses panicked, and cost of living tripled.
They are owning this fuel, they are tightening it, they keep this fuel somewhere, they no sell it, they want us to be suffering for it.
Many motorists has been here for more than 6 hours queuing to get fuel.
For 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and they are not selling fuel for them. No fuel.
Millions of Nigerians felt pain instantly. But again, a lot of Nigerians said they did not vote for this man. If they did not vote for him, how did he manage to become president? How did he become so powerful? To understand this story, we must first understand the person. Who is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and how did he become the president of Nigeria? In this documentary, I'm going to unveil the secret strategies Bola Ahmed Tinubu used to emerge as a president of Nigeria, how he built systems, and how he turned ordinary street boys into weapons. My name is Prince Theophilus, and this is Fame and Fallout. The story of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not a normal political story. It is a story of a man who understood power better than almost everyone around him. A man who believed that leadership is not about winning an election, but building a system that can never lose. Before Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999, Tinubu was already known in the pro-democracy struggle. He was among those who ran, spoke, and fought against military rule. But the real turning point of his life was not during the struggle. It happened when democracy finally returned and he became the governor of Lagos State.
Like the electoral mandate the people of Lagos gave me on January 9, 1999, I regard the vote as sacred confidence. I swear before you and God once again that I shall respect the sanctity of this man.
That seat changed everything. Many governors come into office to work. Some come to enjoy power. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu came with a plan. He did not just want to govern Lagos. He wanted to own Lagos, not as a property, but as a political fortress. So he started slowly, quietly, and patiently. He studied the political system. He understood where money was, where the influence lived, and where loyalty was. And he understood how power could be protected, not just for one time, not for 2 times, but forever. And Lagos was his starting point. But Lagos was never his final destination. Tinubu began to build something Nigerian politicians had never seen before. He was not a selfish person. He understood that if you must win with people. So he started building a political network. This is what he did. He gathered young, smart, ambitious people and placed them in position of power. He trained them, he funded them, he supported them, and in return, they owe him just one thing: loyalty. Not loyalty based on fear, not loyalty based on violence, but loyalty based on opportunity. And guess what? He became the kingmaker. If you wanted to rise in Lagos politics, you must go through him. If you wanted influence in business, you must go through someone close to him. And step by step, Year after year, his reach grew beyond just one office, beyond one role, and beyond one man. His critics call it godfatherism. His supporters call it leadership and vision. But whichever name you choose to call it, the truth is the same. Tinubu was building an empire. His empire was not built with soldiers. It was not built with guns. It was built with relationship, money, strategy, and patience. He did not rush. He waited. He calculated, and he planted seed and allowed time to grow them. By the time his tenure as a governor ended in 2007, Tinubu had already done something few Nigerian politicians ever managed to do. He turned a government position into a permanent power base. Governors leave office and disappear. Governors leave office and become ordinary citizens. But as for Tinubu, he left the office and became more powerful than the new governor because the new governor was his creation, and that was only the beginning. If you want to grow your own YouTube channel, I have a good news for you. I've spent years of my life studying YouTube and understanding its algorithm. I realized that most people find it very difficult to monetize their channel. Some people wait for years to get monetized, but I got my own channel monetized in just 6 weeks. So if you want to know how I did it, click the link in the description right now to purchase my YouTube monetization course. It's a video course I created to help you understand YouTube and start making money just like me. See you there. During the time of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Lagos was no longer just a state. It became a headquarters, a capital of influence, a fortress of political strategy. From there, Tinubu would slowly stretch his hand beyond Lagos, across the southwest, across the entire country, until eventually even the president of Nigeria will sit within his reach. But before the entire country knew what was happening, Tinubu was already 3 steps ahead. Because for him, politics was not just ambition, it was a game. And every game has a master. And this is how Bola Ahmed Tinubu began the journey to becoming one of the most powerful politicians in modern Nigerian history. But the real move was yet to come. When Tinubu became governor in 1999, Lagos was a rich city with a poor government. Lagos had millions of people, endless business activity, but the government itself was broke. The money Lagos made each month was not enough to run the state. Civil servants were struggling. Infrastructure was dying. The system itself was sinking. Tinubu realized something very important. Power does not come from the office. Power comes from controlling the money that runs the office. So before he built roads, before he built bridges, before he built political alliance, he built the tax system by doing the following. Number 1, he identified the problem. The government was depending too much on federal allocation, meaning Lagos survival depended on Abuja sending money. Tinubu didn't like that. He didn't want Lagos to beg the federal government. He wanted Lagos to be financially independent. So he asked one question that changed everything. How much is Lagos actually supposed to be making, and why are we not collecting it? The answer was simple. The money was out there, but nobody was collecting it. Lagos was full of small shops, markets, bus park, private businesses, informal workers, but most of them didn't pay tax because there was no proper structure. So Tinubu reorganized Lagos Internal Revenue Service. He made it technically stronger, professionally managed, data-driven, and aggressive in tax mapping. But that was not enough. The formal sector, the market and the street businesses, was too big to ignore. And that sector was controlled by the people Nigerians call Agbero, the tout, and transport union structure. Tinubu did not try to destroy them. He did something smarter. He transformed tout into organized power brokers. In Lagos, bus park and motor routes were controlled by transport union. These people were powerful. They were fierce. They had numbers. They could mobilize crowd. They could shut down the city in minutes. Tinubu looked at them and saw something others did not see. These people are not just street fighters. They are a workforce, a network, and a structure. So instead of fighting them, he brought them into the system. He gave some of them roles in transport union leadership, some security enforcement role, some revenue collection responsibility, all legally managed. This move reduced street chaos, but more importantly, it created loyalty. The streets now belong to him. So, if you ever wonder why the Agberos are very powerful in Lagos, this is the reason. They feel Tinubu gave them life. He brought them into the system, so they are forever loyal to his government. Tinubu empowered transport union networks that later became political enforcers. These groups sometimes intimidate voters according to the story. They control bus park aggressively. They collect levies from drivers and businesses. The same organized structure that helped revenue also helped political dominance. Before Tinubu, Lagos internal revenue was around 600 million per month.
The revenue of Lagos State is improved. I've taken it from 600 million a month. In 1998, that was what they were making, internally generated revenue. We've computerized fully. The computer are going back to the schools too. We computerized our revenue and cleared the loophole. Today, I'm proud to tell you that it's standing at 3 billion a month.
After its reforms, it grew into tens of billions per month. Today, Lagos is the richest state in Nigeria, even richer than some countries in Africa. And that economic power became the foundation of Tinubu political power. Because if you control money, you can control politics. It did not just build tax system, it built a financial engine that could fund elections, influence, loyalty, structure. No other state in Nigeria has a machine like that. And this is where Tinubu's power truly came from. Around 2003, a big battle began. Tinubu decided to create local council development areas in Lagos. That is, smaller local government that will bring power close to the people.
Those local governments, there are 37 of them, plus the 20. We continue to nurse them. The Supreme Court has ruled. The rest is drama. But
the federal government under President Olusegun Obasanjo was not happy with that. They said, no, you cannot do that. So they cut off federal allocation to Lagos.
No penny from federal government, no penny from state.
They tried to starve the state financially. This was supposed to be a punishment, a lesson, and a warning. But Tinubu did not bend. He took the federal government to court, and guess what? He won. This victory changed his image forever. To some Nigerians, he became a man who stood up to Abuja and didn't fall. To his supporters in the Southwest, he became a hero, a defender, and a leader with a backbone. From that moment, he was no longer just a governor. He became a political head of Lagos, a father of the new political identity. After Bola Ahmed Tinubu fixed Lagos revenue system and organized the street power, he had something most politicians never have: a self-funding political engine. This meant he did not need to beg businessmen for campaign money. He did not need to beg federal government for allocation. He did not need to compromise for survival. He could finance power by himself. And when you control your own money, you control your own destiny. But Tinubu did not stop there. He used Lagos not just as a source of wealth, but as a factory of political power. A factory that produced leaders who will always remember who made them. When a governor leaves the office, his power usually ends. But for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in 2007, he handed over to Babatunde Raji Fashola, a calm, intelligent technocrat, loved by many, respected by many, but behind him, like a shadow, like a general with a map, was Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Fashola governed, but Tinubu influenced. When Fashola finished his time, Tinubu brought in Akinwumi Ambode. When Ambode refused to play by the internal rules, Tinubu removed him. Just like that, he replaced him with Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Same pattern, with same control, with same message. Nobody rules Lagos without my permission. That was the moment Nigerians fully understood that Tinubu did not just win elections, he owned the structure that produced elections. Lagos was no longer just a state. Lagos was a stronghold, his fortress, his headquarters, his base of power that never sleeps. While the rest of the country was doing normal politics, Tinubu was building a machine. This machine was bigger than one man. It was bigger than one office. It was bigger than one election. It was a king-making system. And now that that system was complete, Tinubu was ready to expand beyond Lagos, beyond the Southwest, and beyond regional politics. He had tested state power. Now he wanted national power. The presidency was no longer a dream. It was a target, and he had a plan that will shock the entire country. By 2007, Tinubu had already secured Lagos. The state was now his home ground, his fortress, his political bank. But there was one problem. Nigeria was still controlled by PDP, People's Democratic Party. From presidency to Senate to most of the states, one party dominated the entire country. PDP was not just a party, it was a wall, a mountain standing between Tinubu and the presidency. But Tinubu was patient. He did not attack the wall with force. He began to chip at it slowly and silently. He started with one objective: take the Southwest away from PDP. If he could control the Southwest, then he could negotiate with the North for presidency. The rest of Nigeria did not see it yet, but Tinubu was already building a national chessboard. While Tinubu was building structure with loyalty, the PDP was getting too comfortable. They believed that Nigeria belonged to them forever. They were so confident, so relaxed, and they were very sure of victory that they did not notice that a storm was forming in Lagos. Tinubu watched PDP leaders fight each other. He watched their egos grow. He watched their alliances break. And like a hunter hiding in the forest, he waited. Tinubu understood something most Nigerian politics never learn. A single person cannot win a national fight, but a coalition can. He started bringing people together: former governors, defeated candidates, powerful businessmen, political orphans, ambitious youths. It didn't matter where they are coming from as long as they wanted power. Tinubu's message was simple: if we come together, PDP cannot stop us. And slowly, quietly, one state at a time, the Southwest began to fall into his hand. Lagos, then Ogun State, then Osun State, then Oyo State, then Ekiti State, then Ondo for a time. One by one, the region turned into his color. He had done what many thought was impossible. He built a regional power bloc stronger than PDP's presence. Before 2015 victory, Muhammadu Buhari was not a rising star. He was a failed presidential candidate. A respected figure in the north, yes, but politically stuck, regionally limited, and nationally rejected. Buhari had tried 3 times to become a president. In 2023, under ANPP, he lost. In 2007, under ANPP, he lost. In 2011, under CPC, his party, he lost. Each time, the pattern was the same. He had huge votes in the north, but almost no support in the south, so he could not meet the national spread required by the constitution. He was always close, but in politics, close means nothing. This was Buhari's biggest problem. He was seen by many southerners as too northerner, too rigid, too religiously conservative, too military behavior, too unmodern for economic and urban elites. He was respected but not trusted outside the north. So even if he had millions of votes, he was not electable nationally. He was a regional giant trapped inside national dream. In 2011, Buhari lost again, this time to Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. The loss hit him emotionally, very deeply. After the results were announced, Buhari cried publicly, not because he lost an election, because he believed that maybe Nigerians do not want him. He announced that he was done contesting. He even said publicly, "I will never run for president again." But while Buhari saw failure, Tinubu saw opportunity. Tinubu understood something Buhari did not. Buhari was not unelectable, he was just incomplete. Buhari had master northern votes, a reputation for discipline, a clean public image, a loyal ideological base, but he lacked southern trust, urban support, elite network, media influence, and campaign strategy. But guess what? Tinubu had all of those. The match was perfect. Buhari was a fire, Tinubu was an oxygen. Fire without oxygen fails, but fire with oxygen becomes unstoppable. So, Tinubu approached Buhari and told him, you can still win, but not alone. If you must win, we must build a new party, not an alliance, but a merger. This was unheard of. Political parties in Nigeria don't merge, they form coalition, not new identities. But Tinubu wanted something stronger than just a handshake. He wanted a complete restructuring of power. So he told Buhari, NCN, Tinubu's party, will combine with CPC, Buhari's party, plus ANPP, plus APGA fraction, plus powerful PDP defectors called the New PDP. This will create a mega opposition force stronger enough to defeat PDP. Buhari agreed because at this point, he had nothing left to lose. There is one thing about Tinubu. He understood presentation. He softens Buhari's image. He introduced him to Lagos elite. He brought him close to Christian leader. He reintroduced him to the press. He removed the national only candidate label and he packaged him as a national reformer. He gave Buhari a running mate acceptable to the South, Emi Lokan, a respected pastor and legal scholar from Tinubu's network. This was not just a coincidence, this was a design. When the election came, the difference was clear. The North had always voted for Buhari, but now the Southwest voted for him too. And that was the winning formula. Tinubu delivered Lagos, Ogun State, Oyo State, Osun State, Ekiti State, and Ondo State. With the Southwest, Buhari finally had regional balance, constitutional spread, national legitimacy, and emotional acceptance. And for the first time, he won the election. Buhari did not win because he became stronger. He won because Tinubu completed him. Tinubu did not give Buhari the presidency. Tinubu designed the path, built the vehicle, fueled it, drove it, and delivered it to Aso Rock. Buhari was just a passenger at the passenger seat. This is why years later, Tinubu said, Emi Lokan, it's my turn.
Mo ti ń ṣèyí bọ̀, ọjọ́ ti pẹ́, ẹgbẹ́ kìíní wá, Emi Lokan.
That was not arrogance, not entitlement, just mathematics of loyalty and history. From that moment forward, the entire political class began to fear one sentence: Tinubu is thinking. Because when Tinubu thinks, politicians move because he's a master strategist. Alliances shift, campaigns collapse, and presidents listen. He was no longer playing Lagos politics. He was now playing Nigeria's highest political game. Tinubu had now installed a president. He had made governors. He had built a machine. Yet, there is one throne left, the highest seat in the nation. The one thing he had not yet touched yet, and that was the presidency. And somewhere in his mind, long before he ever stated it publicly, a quiet voice was already speaking, Emi Lokan, it's my turn. After Tinubu helped Buhari become president in 2015, the whole country expected something. Tinubu would be rewarded. But politics does not work like a thank you card. Power does not remember favors. Power only remembers control. Inside Buhari's government, new power centers began to rise. Different interests, different ambitions, different loyalty. Some people believe Tinubu had become too powerful. Some believe they no longer needed him. Some believe they could push him aside. For the first time in many years, Tinubu was being blocked. Meetings he should have been part of, he was excluded. Decisions he used to control, he was ignored. People who rose through his structure, some of them switched sides. This was not just politics anymore. This was a silent betrayal. And Tinubu watched it all calmly. He did not shout. He did not fight publicly. He did not break the party. He simply waited, because a true hunter knows you don't chase an animal when it's still running. You wait for it to slow down. In 2019, Buhari needed to run again for second time. Now, the same politician who tried to silence Tinubu suddenly remember something. You cannot win Nigeria without the Southwest. And who controlled the Southwest? Of course, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So they came back to him. They negotiated. They humbled themselves. And guess what? Tinubu delivered the vote again. He delivered Lagos. He delivered the Southwest again. But this time, it was not just helping Buhari win. It was trading. It was buying something. Not money, not position. It was buying time. Time to position himself. Time to rebuild alliances. Time to prepare for this final push. The presidency was getting closer. Between 2019 and 2022, Tinubu barely spoke publicly about his ambition. But behind the scene, he was moving like a ghost. He visited traditional rulers, governors, religious leaders, business giants, international allies, not with noise, not with camera, not with announcement. He built promises, debts, favors, loyalties, and obligations. He was building a debt that Nigeria would have to pay. The party tried to stop him when APC internal crisis began. When the then party chairman, Adams Oshomole, was removed, the new faction started to rise. Many people believe something. They believe this is to weaken Tinubu. They thought removing his strong allies from the party would finish him. But they miscalculated. Tinubu did not fight. He allowed them to remove the chairman. He allowed governors to label. He allowed power blocks to reorganize, because while they were playing party politics, Tinubu was playing electoral mathematics. He was counting states. He was counting delegates. He was counting votes. He didn't care whether you insult him or any argument. So one day in Abeokuta, Ogun State, in a small room with a camera and a microphone, when APC members seated, Tinubu expressed himself. He gave them strong reason why he should become the president. Undeniable reasons. He said in 3 words that shocked the entire country: Emi Lokan, it is my turn. This is a video that explains everything about his strategies.
Mo ti ń ṣèyí bọ̀, ọjọ́ ti pẹ́, ẹgbẹ́ kìíní wá, Emi Lokan. Emi Lokan. Ìgbà tó ń yọ ẹgbà ti Àtíkù nínú ẹgbẹ́ ẹ̀ tó bá sọjọ́ fẹ́ nà pa, ọ̀dọ̀ mi ló sá wá, Emi Lokan. Mo filẹ̀ fún. Ó yọ akéèti Nuhu Ribadu. Ọ̀rọ̀ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́, ọ̀rọ̀ ọgbọ́n orí ni kíní, Nuhu nìṣó, ó gbé Nuhu Ribadu síta. Ọdún ó ti lé lọ́dún mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n sí tí mo ti ń sìn wọ́n bọ̀. Eléyìí tó jókòó lẹ́yìn mi Dàpọ̀. Ṣó wàá lè sọ pé òun lè di dádì gọ́fúnà tí ó bá ṣe mí?
It was not arrogance. It was not entitlement. It was a declaration. I have built a system structure. I have built a coalition. I have paid the price. I did not betray anyone. I waited. Now the throne is mine. Those words were not just spoken to the public. They were spoken to Buhari, the Northern Power elite, the Southwest political family, the APC leadership, and every silent rival. Tinubu was no longer asking, he was announcing. The kingmaker was now stepping forward to become the king. Tinubu captured power from the top with kindness, with favor, and with strategies. Some people laughed at him. They said he was not fit to become the president. Some were offended. Some people were afraid. And some were impressed. But everyone, even his enemy, understood something. Tinubu was not joking. He was ready. He was coming. And he was not coming to negotiate. He was coming to take power.
Where are we? Political power is not going to be served in a restaurant. It's not served in a la carte. It's what we are doing. It's being determined to do it. At all costs, fight for it, grab it, snatch it, and run with it.
Yes, sir.
And now the real battle begins, not inside APC, not inside Lagos, but across the entire country. Because the road to presidency will require breaking old alliances, facing new enemies, surviving betrayers, and playing the most dangerous political games in Nigeria history. And guess what? Tinubu was ready, but the country was not. After the Emi Lokan declaration, the ground started shaking in Nigeria politics. Governors began to whisper. Party leaders began calculating. Ambitious politicians began panicking because for the first time in a long time, Tinubu was no longer behind the curtains. He has stepped into the center of the stage. And when a man who has been controlling power from the shadows stepped into the light, the entire system trembled. Elections in Nigeria are not always won on the election day. They are often won weeks or months before the election. When delegates are chosen, it is called the primary election. Delegates are not just ordinary people. They are the ones who vote at the primary to decide who becomes the presidential candidate. Every serious politician knows if you could control the delegate, you control the election. And Tinubu understood this better than anyone else. While others were making public speeches, Tinubu was visiting states at night. While others were posting on social media, Tinubu was meeting party leaders in their living room. While others were on TV arguing, Tinubu was signing agreements, calling in old favors and creating new ones. He didn't need the crowd yet. He needed the delegate, and he got them one by one, state by state, region by region, quietly, strategically, and patiently. But the path was not smooth. The same people who once celebrated him began to turn against him. Some said he was too old. Some said his time had passed. Some said another person should be given the chance. Some even whispered, Tinubu helped Buhari, but Buhari will not help him. There were rumors that powerful people at the top did not want him to win. There are governors plotting. There were ministers calculating. There were party elites trying to create new favorite candidates. They forgot something. Tinubu did not build power in 1 year. He built power in 25 years. And you cannot break what took 25 years to build with last-minute breakfast meeting. On June 2022, at the Eagle Square in Abuja, the delegates sat watching the future unfold like a movie. There were many candidates, former governors, senators, billionaires, ministers, technocrats. Some of them even entered the race just to block Tinubu. But Tinubu was calm. He sat there silently watching everyone like a man who had already seen the result before the event began. Everyone said what was on their mind. But when Tinubu stood up, his voice was not the loudest. His speech was not the longest, but every word cut deep. He said, I have built this party with my sweat. I have helped you win. I have supported all of you. Now, help me fulfill my own dream. Emi Lokan, it is my turn. And when they cast their votes, Tinubu won. The kingmaker had officially become the APC presidential candidate. The throne was now within his reach.
I'm a unified leader. I have constructed a formidable political structure
one that has delivered electoral victory after electoral victory. I do not put myself forward because I think this is the nomination in Nigeria.
In order for Tinubu to finally win, he used the strategies used by every politician, but he used it differently. He leaned on ethnic identity appeal, Yoruba Lokan, to get more support. He didn't just say Emi Lokan, which means it's my turn, but he stood on his words. And yes, it worked. Most Yoruba people had more reason to support him. Tinubu chose Kashim Shettima as a running mate. Both of them were Muslims. It was not supposed to be so, but he was ready to break any rule just to become the president. Nigerians complained about it. People debated on social media, but Tinubu did not blink. He was not playing emotional politics. He was playing strategic politics. He believed that election would be won on ground mobilization, state network, vote structure, and turnout zone, not online opinions. It was a high-risk, high-reward move, and he was ready for every consequence. Now, the road was set. Tinubu had the party ticket, the national network, the loyal Southwest base, the Northern Alliance, money, experience, strategy, and something very rare in Nigeria politics, patience. The kingmaker was on his way to become the king, but the final battle would be the hardest because the 2023 presidential election was not just a normal election. It was not just about parties. It was not just about manifestos. It was not just about promises. It was about identity. It was about emotion. It was about the soul of the country. For the first time in many years, Nigeria had 3 candidates, not 2. Each one represented something powerful. The 3 candidates are Atiku Abubakar of PDP. Atiku is the experienced politician, the old northern structure, a classic power network, and the second candidate, Peter Obi of Labour Party, is the outsider, the youth movement, the fire of hope and frustration, the movement born from anger against the government and the old political class. And the third one is Bola Ahmed Tinubu of APC, the strategist, the builder, the kingmaker who now wanted to sit on the throne. This was not just competition, it was coalition. Nigeria was tired. Years of insecurity, hard economy, unemployment, inflation. People were frustrated. People were angry. People were desperate for change. And in that atmosphere, every candidate became a symbol. Atiku represented continuity of old politics. Obi represented the dream of the new country. And Tinubu represented the system itself, the man who built the machine. So the campaign did not look like a political game. It looked like a war of belief. Tinubu faced the hardest opponent he ever saw. Not Atiku, but the Nigerian youth. Millions of young Nigerians did not want political establishment anymore. They wanted something fresh, something clean, something different, something emotional. Then they found out that Peter Obi was the one. Obi did not need billboards. He did not need crowd renting. He did not need traditional political structure. The youth became his own structure. They made graphics. They made slogans. They held rallies without being paid. They shouted his name online like a religion. It was a movement, and movements are harder to fight than political parties. But Tinubu did not fight emotion with emotion. He did not try to mash the online youth. He did not try to inspire hope with speeches. He did not try to appear like a saint. He played a different game. The ground game, the silent game, the game of ward coordinators, local influencers, vote mobilizers, street organizers, rural power brokers, traditional rulers, union leaders, religious structures, and market association. While others were training online, Tinubu was securing polling unit captain. While others were inspiring with passion, Tinubu was securing local turnout system. While others were speaking to millions, Tinubu was speaking to the few who could control the millions. He did not try to win everyone. He just needed to win enough. Another strategic thing Tinubu did was he played the game of popularity. Tinubu understood that there is no bad publicity. Since the youth are on the side of Peter Obi, he needed to do something unique that would make him popular among the youth. So this is what he did. Every of his campaign, he must say something meaningless, something controversial that will trend on the media. These are some of the examples.
A town hall different from Blue Bulaba
shall be simple. Bible broom. Broom.
God bless PD APC.
How do you prevent a church rat from eating a poisoned Holy Communion?
While other Nigerians were busy mocking him, he was busy getting pretty popular. And we can say that popularity also helped him in so many ways. February 25th, 2023, that was the day of the election. The air across Nigeria felt heavy because everyone knew this election was not just politics. It was frustration. It was hope versus the system, old Nigeria versus the new Nigeria. Before sunrise, long queues had already formed. Young people, first-time voters, elders holding walking stick, market women, mechanics, bankers, everyone came out. It was not just an election. It felt like a judgment day. In many places, voting material arrived late. Some polling stations opened at 11 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. Some people said that the lateness was a strategy to rig the election. People stood in the sun waiting because for once, Nigerians believed their vote would matter. Tinubu supporters were confident. Atiku supporters were angry but experienced. Peter Obi supporters were angry, hungry, emotional, and loud. They called themselves the obedient. They believed that this was their revolution. And in many cities, Lagos, Abuja, and the Southeast, their energy was undeniable. Social media was on fire, and they stood at the polling units and they were updating everything online. In some polling units in Lagos, Rivers State, Kano, Kaduna, and some parts of Kogi, observers and citizens reported ballot box snatching. People were being chased away. There were fights broken out, burning of voting papers, and marksmen on motorcycles chasing voters away from the polling units. Polling unit staff running away, and these reports were real, verified by videos, observers, and news outlets. But the identity of those responsible was not always clear. Some people claim it was APC members. Then, something unexpected happened. Peter Obi won Lagos, not by rumor, not by speculation, but by official announcement. The city that was Tinubu's fortress, his headquarters, his home base, his symbol of power, went to a candidate that had no political structure in Lagos. The results shook the entire country. Some Tinubu supporters were surprised. The question was, how come Peter Obi won Lagos? But here is a logic many analysts and insiders believed. They believed Tinubu let Lagos go to calm the streets and to avoid unrest. Because if Lagos went the other way, the anger from the youth could have turned into fire, protests, riots, chaos, international attention. But by conceding Lagos, Tinubu reduced tension, avoided violence in his strongest city. He appeared democratic, protected his legitimacy narrative. shifted the fight back to national arithmetic. This was a strategy, not a defeat. During and after the election day, there were rumors that Tinubu's team allowed Lagos to flip intentionally to distract attention from the result from other states. The server uploads were delayed strategically so that numbers could be influenced before the final collation. These claims remain unverified and heavily disputed, but they were widely believed by many frustrated citizens. Tinubu did not try to win everywhere. He did not need to. Nigeria Constitution requires that a candidate must win the highest total votes and must win 25% of votes in at least 24 states. So, Tinubu used electoral mathematics, not emotional popularity. He targeted the Southwest, his home base, then the Northwest, Buhari's old stronghold, then the North Central, swing state, then some South states, that is fragment opposition spread. He did not need to win Lagos, he needed to win spread. Peter Obi won Abuja, Lagos, Enugu, Imo, Plateau states and others, but he did not get 25% spread across enough states. Atiku won many northern states, but Lagos and the upper zone escaped him. Tinubu won enough southern states, enough northern states, and enough central states and achieved the required constitutional spread. It was small win, small state, but mathematically effective. This is a strategy. The collation center in Abuja was supposed to represent transparency. Everything looked official, but as hours passed by, something changed. The result announcement slowed down, not in hours, but in days. States arrived one by one, then they paused, then they resumed, then they paused again. By the second night, Nigerians were watching collation like a movie. Some people were hopeful, some were nervous, and some were angry. But then, around the third night, something shifted. The results began coming in faster, but the atmosphere grew quieter. The cameras were still on, the officials were still reading, but the crowd energy was gone. Most Nigerians had gone to sleep. Now, the final hours of the collation happened very late in the night. While the country was tired, while people were exhausted from watching their screen, while social media slowed down, while many believed the final announcement will come the next day, INEC continued. One state, then the other, then another. The kind of silence that feels intentional, even if no one can prove it is. Before sunrise, it happened. INEC chairman stepped to the microphone and he said, "I hereby declare Bola Ahmed Tinubu the President-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria."
That Tinubu Bola Ahmed of the APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
By morning, Nigerians saw headlines already printed. TV stations already switched to analysis mode. Campaign team already issuing statements. Supporters already celebrating. Opponents already calling lawyers. It felt sudden even though it took days. The time did not match the memory. Some Nigerians later claimed that the late night continuation was timed so the country would be asleep when the final declaration came. The quiet hours made it harder for protests to form. The timing influenced how Nigerians emotionally process the results because people argue louder at noon than 3 a.m. And Tinubu's camp remained calm, silent, and prepared. When the morning came, he was already the president-elect. But something disturbing happened. When Nigerians wake up to the realization that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was now the president-elect, everywhere was quiet. An event that showed that Nigerians were not happy. But the question was, if Tinubu truly won the election, why does the entire country felt like a graveyard? To make you understand this, let me take you back to the year 2015 when Buhari won over Goodluck Jonathan. There was celebration everywhere. The entire nation, from the north to the east to the south to the west, everyone celebrated. But the day Tinubu won, there was celebration only in the camp of APC and its supporters. Some Nigerians got angry and the conversation began. Some people said Tinubu stole it. Some said he earned it. Some said Nigeria is finished. And there were so many narratives. The country was divided, painfully divided, but Tinubu did not flinch. He had expected the anger. He had expected the noise. He had expected the protest. He had expected the court battles. Power is not just about winning. Power is about surviving the reaction after winning. And Tinubu was prepared. He always is.
Political power is not going to be served in a restaurant. It's not served in a la carte. It's what we are doing. It's being determined to do it at all costs. Fight for it. Grab it. Snatch it.
Yes, sir.
And run with it.
Yes, sir.
On May 29, 2023, the day Tinubu was supposed to give Nigerians hope, the day he was officially sworn in, instead of him to calm the tension and give Nigerians hope and courage, he made everything worse when he said, fuel subsidy gone.
Fuel subsidy. Unfortunate. The budget that I've glimpsed before I assumed office and what I've heard is that no provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
That announcement alone made Nigerians feel they had made the biggest mistake of their life, because hardship started the day he was sworn in. Fuel price went up over 100%. Transportation went up. Food prices followed, and businesses panicked. In less than 24 hours, Bola Ahmed Tinubu had done something that took Buhari 8 years to do. But this was just the beginning. To understand why Nigerians were angry after the subsidy removal, let's go back to the days of Goodluck Jonathan to see what Tinubu did when Jonathan removed fuel subsidy.
Whether they remove the subsidy or not, we will still be in problem.
No force on earth can stop this revolution.
This country is not going to collapse. Those who are going to collapse are those who are cheating the Nigerian people. When my father was fighting, I was 13 years old. I am 50. Who are the people of Nigeria?
They are still embezzling the retirement benefit of hardworking Nigeria, including our grandfathers. They are stealing the port, the treasury, not even leaving some coins for us to war with. Let them be out.
It was the year 2012, and Nigeria was under President Goodluck Jonathan. Jonathan's government was struggling with a rising budget deficit, oil theft, and a shrinking national reserve, and subsidy payments that were consuming almost half of the national income. Economists were warning Nigeria cannot continue paying subsidy. It was killing the economy. So in January of 2012, Jonathan's government made a bold move. Fuel subsidy was removed. And immediately, Nigeria started experiencing instant hardship. Fuel price jumped overnight from 65 naira to 141 naira. Transport doubled. Food prices rose. The street exploded, and Nigerians reacted with anger. Millions of Nigerians protested across Lagos, Abuja, Kano, Port Harcourt, Benin, Enugu, Kaduna. It became known as Occupy Nigeria. Young people, elders, celebrities, unions, civil society, everybody was outside. The anger was not just about economy, it was about trust. Nigerians believed that subsidy money would be stolen, not reinvested. At this time, Tinubu was not in power, but he was building his influence as a national opposition leader. He criticized Jonathan's move strongly through statements, through party messages, through protest alignment, through public speeches, through media narrative. He argued that the removal of subsidy was too sudden. He said Nigerians were already suffering. He said government had not built trust. He said corruption in subsidy management should be addressed first. He said the people should not pay for the failures of leadership. This messaging was powerful because it matched the mood of the public. He positioned himself as the voice of the common people, struggling family, and every Nigerian. This was textbook political strategy, not just opposing government policy, but aligning with national emotion. Tinubu did not bring Jonathan down alone, but his voice, his media network, his influence in Lagos, and his organizing power in the Southwest amplified public anger. The protests weakened Jonathan's moral authority. His administration never fully recovered from the perception of being out of touch with the masses. The Occupy Nigeria movement became a political turning point. Fast forward to 2023, the irony arrived. Tinubu became the president. And on that day, that same day, without delay, he removed fuel subsidy. Without plan, without any structure. Fuel price moved from 185 naira to 500 naira. The same shock style Jonathan used, but the reaction was different. Why? Because Tinubu used different narrative framing. When Jonathan removed subsidy, he said, we are saving the economy. When Tinubu removed subsidy, he said, subsidy is gone, short and direct. No justification, no apology. This created a psychological effect. But the outcome was the same. Fuel prices went up, transportation went up, food price went up, rent went up, and hunger increased. Exactly the same economic shock Nigeria protested against in 2012, and Tinubu was among the leaders of the protest. Bola Ahmed Tinubu knew the strategies he used to take power, and he knew that his opposition would be ready to use the same strategies against him. And guess what? He is ready. Because Nigerians are not ready for what will happen under his administration. In the part 2 of this video, I will take you into the world of the strategy Tinubu is using to rule Nigeria. I have studied him, and I can tell you for a fact, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a master strategy. Like him or hate him, you must learn from him, because what I learned from Tinubu is you cannot play politics with emotion, but with strategy and hard decision. If you love this video, make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell button for the part 2, because in the part 2, I'm going to reveal a lot of secrets. And if you love stories like this, you can click here right now to watch more film and Fallout story. Thank you for watching.